Hey Chopper, this viewer's not subscribed.
Car D Kaizoku.
If I was a baker, I'd have a pastry on. All the OP06 leaders have been revealed, so I'm going to do another speculative tier list like I did with OP05. I think I got the placements on the OP05 leaders relatively correct, so let's see how I do with OP06. This is just a fun way for me to test my ability to judge cards well, and it'll make for a funny post-mortem video if I'm completely off the mark on any of them. Here's how the tier list will be broken down. So let's get started with our first leader. Yamato is a green-yellow strike attribute leader with 5000 power and 4 life. The card ability reads, double attack, activate main, once per turn. If your opponent has 3 or less life, attach up to 2 rested Dawn to one of your characters. I went over Yamato in a Kaizoku recap video, but double attack for free on its own is pretty strong for a leader ability. But then Yamato's leader ability gets even better when you can land that double attack, since you can get access to even more power from rested Dawn afterwards. There really aren't any downsides or any restrictive prerequisites to get all this raw value out of the leader ability, so I think it's fair to say it's really strong right out of the gate. On top of this, we already have proof that the green mono package is solid since it's been around since OP01 and OP02. It was enough to sustain Kid into the top of the meta in OP01 as a secondary engine, and it was able to sustain itself with Kinemon in OP02. It's fallen off quite a bit though since it hasn't gotten any meaningful support in OP03, 04, or 05. But OP06 Yamato lets us potentially fill in some of the power creepy gaps with yellow Wano cards now. So while the yellow Wano cards so far have been quite lackluster, maybe they work better as a supporting color for the green side of things. And we already know they're printing new, stronger yellow Wano cards in this set too, so I'm quite hopeful on the prospects of Yamato. For now, Yamato seems like a meta contender to me. Next up is Vinsmoke Reiju. She's a blue-purple special attribute leader with 5000 power and 4 starting life. The leader ability reads, your turn, once per turn. When one of your Dawn cards on the field is returned to your Dawn deck, draw 1 card. Yet another blue-purple leader. Will they hit the mark this time? Where they failed in blue-purple Croc, maybe they can redeem themselves with Reiju. So blue-purple Croc failed due to his leader ability being hard to utilize. You not only need to establish a board to not fall behind your opponent, but you also have to leave Dawn up to even activate your leader ability, which pushed it into a leader ability that doesn't really provide you any value until the late game. Reiju helps front load a little bit of the card value by letting you draw much earlier while also playing very strong purple cards that require you to minus Dawn as a trade-off. With that being said, I'm still not too excited for Reiju. It's a pure utility leader ability, similar to blue-black Sakazuki in OP05, but there's really not too much synergy between blue and purple. Blue and black were a match made in heaven. Black reduced the cost of characters that made it much easier for blue to remove cards from the board. Reiju's ability encourages you to play at a lower curve, but blue doesn't have good early game cards. This could change with the rest of the blue cards being revealed, but it looks like blue in OP06 has to share support for the Zoro and Sanji starter deck as well. Even the purple Germa 66 cards feel like they fit better in a red-purple law deck than in Reiju's. For now, my first impression is that Reiju is definitely better than Croc, but the color combination still feels a bit too clunky, so I'll have to put her in Cope. Next up is Uta, red-purple special attribute leader with 5000 power and 4 life. The leader ability reads, when attacking, you may trash 1 film type card from your hand. Give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 2000 power till the end of the turn. Then add up to 1 Dawn from your Dawn deck as rested. I think Uta has an incredibly strong leader ability, and it'll really all come down to the cards they print in OP06. Minus 2k on any characters in 99% of cases makes it not worth to use counter to defend them. You even get to ramp afterwards. Uta's leader ability turns any film card into that effect. This synergizes with many staple red cards like Jet Pistol and Marco. The only thing I'm wary on is that the existing red and purple film cards are pretty lackluster. Purple has always been more of a supporting color for the green side of things in green-purple Doflamingo. And then red film cards other than Gordon are mostly just vanillas. So while I do think Uta's leader ability is really strong, it'll really depend immensely on what other red and purple film cards they'll print in OP06. And with most of the red and purple cards revealed so far being Germa 66 and Revolutionary Army cards, I am getting a little worried. But for now, we'll put Uta in B, need to see rest of the set. Next up is Hody Jones. He's a green strike attribute leader with 5000 power and 5 life. The leader ability reads, activate main, you may rest this leader. Rest up to one of your opponent's characters that cost 3 or less, or one of their Dawn. Then during this turn, you cannot add life cards to your hand through your own effects. After getting over my disappointment in Hody taking a leader slot, his leader ability is quite interesting. But with such a niche leader ability, all the support for this effect will come exclusively in OP06 for now. Past Fishman cards do have some synergies with the new ones that will come in OP06 though, but none interact directly with Hody's leader ability. I almost wrote Hody off until I saw Ikaros Muhi revealed. He lets you play another 4-cost Fishman out if you add a card from your life to your hand. This is a very strong effect and you can forego attacking with leader to access this effect without the life penalty. But then I also realized you also have the flexibility of not using your leader ability and playing Ikaros for the extra body and a card draw in cases where your opponent is trying to starve you out. This gives Hody some different angles into playing into an aggro deck versus a control deck. Ikaros is just at uncommon rarity too, so if they print even better Fishman cards with this kind of trade-off, I can totally see Hody being pretty good. Because of that, I'll have to put Hody in B, need to see the rest of the set. Next up is Perona. Green-black special attribute leader with 5000 power and 4 life. The card effect reads, activate main once per turn. Choose one of the following effects. Rest up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less, or up to one of your opponent's characters get -1 cost during this turn. Perona is kind of the opposite of Isho. Isho was all about untapping your characters, while Perona is more about tapping your opponents. I feel like this is a better use of this color combination. Much like blue-black Sakazuki in OP05, black will help a lot of the green cards hit higher value targets. Having a free built-in rest effect makes it a lot easier to use powerful green on-play effects like Krieg's without having to wait until you have Dawn for an additional card with the rest effect. A 10-cost Kuzan makes anything 9 cost or below restable by your leader ability. The -1 cost effect also lets you do the same black combos like Sakazuki can do with OP05 Lucci as well. I think the leader ability is just solid all around, so we'll have to put Perona in A, solid. Last up is Gecko Moria. He's a black special attribute leader with 5000 power and 5 life. The card ability reads, Dawn ×1 when attacking. If you pay 2 Dawn, discard 1 card from your hand. Put the top 2 cards of your deck into the trash and play 1 Thriller Bark Pirates character with a cost of 4 or less from trash. It just seems like Goth Arlong to me. All the existing Thriller Bark Pirates are in blue, so he'll only be able to cheat out cards from OP06. I hope this will be enough because Arlong had less restrictive access to all trigger cards in 2 colors actually, and he's still off meta despite that. We do see some black decks dip into Dressrosa cards just for some of the strong effects that they get when you have a high enough discard count, so Gecko's leader ability does help you build that up. Unlike Doflamingo and Arlong, Gecko only attacks for 6. It's still 3 Dawn total, but one of the Dawn is shifted into the cost to activate the effect. It costs a discard from hand too, so you're not positive in cards like with Doflamingo. As much as I'm excited to see more non-navy black cards, this one doesn't seem like it'll have enough support to hit the ground running. Honestly, sounds a little lackluster. So I'll have to place Gecko in C. Seems alright. So that was my speculative tier list for OP06. I'm hoping I'm not too off the mark on any of these. I try to evaluate them as fair as possible. And I do still think a lot of these will depend on the rest of the set being revealed. This is just what I think about them from now, and with the few cards that have been revealed so far. We'll see how this changes when the set officially releases and I can do a post-mortem on how well I was able to judge these cards. But until then, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Okay, bye.
Card D Kaizoku.